Sissinghurst was once owned by Vita Sackville West, who was an English author and garden designer. She was a successful novelist, poet and journalist, as well as a prolific letter writer and diarist. She was famously part of the Bloomsbury Group. The tower was a major reason why Vita wanted to buy Sissinghurst in 1930. She loved the idea of a tower set within romantic ruins. She created a sanctuary to write her novels and poetry, as well as plan the gardens. The gardens these days are owned by the National Trust, and they're open every day of the year except Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. There is a large car park, although there's a charge of £4. In the car park there is a big information board showing the gardens and the estate, and the way down to the entrance is well signposted. Sissinghurst started out as a Saxon pig farm, but within a few years it became a moated manor house owned by a family called Sissinghursts. In the 1530s it was bought by one of Henry VIII's privy councillors, who built the buildings you can see here and the gatehouse. It got the name castle during the 7 Years' War, when it was used to house French prisoners who called it the Chateau. Through the entrance to the gatehouse is the courtyard garden. The lawns are being renovated at the moment. The borders, however, still contain lots of plants giving autumn colour. To the left of the courtyard, through a small gate, a new garden is being created in a Mediterranean style that uses plants that are drought resistant. This part of the garden is only 2 years old, so the plants haven't grown much and got established. But in another couple of years they will be, and it will give a good showcase of plants that you can grow that don't need to be watered a lot. This building is called the Priest's House, and it is available to rent as a holiday cottage. When we came out of the Mediterranean garden, we took a bit of a wrong turn and ended up walking around the moat and through the woods, although it is a nice walk. Just be sure you take the short route to get back to the house. So back to the garden, and here's a good example of some autumn colour provided by hostas. This is the rose garden, which was started in 1937 on the site of the old kitchen garden. It contains many old and rare roses, and some varieties have Sissinghurst in their name. Apart from their flowers, many roses are grown for these berry-like structures called rose hips, some of which can be quite big and spectacular in colour. Many of the summer annuals are putting on their last flush of flowers and providing winter food stores for the bees. You may have heard the term garden room. Well, Vita Sackville West was the first person to use that term. The garden contains such rooms as the White Room, the Herb Room, the South Cottage Room. A lot of them are divided up by hedges that make vistas which have points of interest at their ends. This is the lime walk and can look quite spectacular in spring because it's planted up with masses of bulbs. It leads along to the moat walk, which crosses the old bowling green, constructed in the 1560s, and runs alongside the wall of the moat. Many of the shrubs in the garden provide interesting autumn colours with their leaves and berries. This is the nursery area where plants are propagated for use in the garden and for sale in the shop. And these are rows of wallflowers ready to be dug up and sold later. This is the White Garden, or White Room, and it's one of the things that Sissinghurst is famous for. It just uses white flowers or plants with silvery foliage. And again, Peter Sackville West was the first person to try and use just one colour in a garden, although of course she did have lots of room to experiment. As well as being a garden, it's also a working farm where they produce their own beef and lamb for use in the restaurant. Just to the north of the garden, through the old Elizabethan barn, is the picnic area, which leads on to the vegetable garden. Last year, the gardens produced 5 tonnes of vegetables and fruit for use in the restaurant. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of Sissinghurst, and see you again next week.